first of all, the funniest thing in the episode was Kirsten was like, "Come over here, handsome."
Oh my God, the face. It was the face.
Was that the face? Did I do
It
it
was,
good? Hi, my loves. Welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us again. I'm your girl, Intisar Eleanor. This is my beautiful husband, Joseph,
hey.
whose birthday just passed. So everybody, I mean, every single person who watches this needs to bust down and tell Joe happy birthday. We love our Pisces. They are terrorists, but we love them still.
That's not true. That's not
Okay.
true at all.
We have a different format going on right now. Tell us about where you are, what you're doing.
I'm on tour right now with some of you that've been following us for a while. No, I'm on tour with my band Otherwise right now. And we just got finished doing the show out in Charlotte, and we are playing in Greensboro, North Carolina tomorrow. So that's where I'm at now. That's why I'm in the hotel room.
Yeah, so I hope you guys can check Joe out. Joe's band actually just dropped their album. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we just dropped the album. It's called Godzillionaire. If you go to my page, any of my pages, you can you'll see where to find it and the spelling of it because it's kind of wonky. But it just came out. Go check it out.
They are on tour. Support, support, support. Joe did the drums on
Hmm.
the album, so when you listening to it, you're actually hearing Joe play. So make sure you go check it out and spread the love and spread the news. Let's dig on into Married at First Sight. I believe this is season 16, episode 10.
Hmm.
Okay, and we are in Nashville, honey. We are getting things together. This was a fascinating episode, I feel like, because now I'm starting to see. I guess people are getting a little bit more comfortable with the cameras being around, and
Yeah,
trying to get a better idea who they are.
yeah, I think so. But that's what happens as the show, goes longer. You start to see the representatives start to leave as we get closer to the end.
Right, exactly, exactly. So one of the things, so this episode opens up and Arris has COVID, and the first thing I thought when he said he has COVID, I thought this man will do anything not to be in the room with this woman. Okay.
Literally, like he gave himself COVID.
He gave it to himself. I do not care. And then was kind of like critical of how she took care of him.
Well, I thought he was kind of giving her props actually. Like I,
Okay.
I felt like, he said she's been making food, she's been coming home and checking on me. So I took it as him trying to big her up a little bit, you know what I
Okay.
mean?
I'll give her that. Maybe I was looking at it differently, like, excuse me. But
Yeah.
yeah, she was trying her best. But I did feel bad because I'm like, girl, Eris is a piece of work. A piece
You
of
know what?
work.
He's just and this is just a running theme, I think, for all of these couples, pretty much all of them, except for Chris and Nicole. It's just a running theme of like he's just not that into her. He's just not into her, and you could tell. That's why he look high every time he on camera, because he looked like I had to smoke before this to get through this. And we see this
I think
well,
that
like
might
all
be
of the
his
couples.
face.
No, I think he's self-medicating. I really think he's self-medicating.
I don't know. Like I feel like, watching this, I feel like he wants to have a connection with her though. Like I feel like he wants it. But I just feel like there is something in between them that is not connecting. And I don't, it's
I
hard.
think I think she gets a lot of slack from the cousin about her personality, right? I think that's just her personality, like about her giving these answers and her not
Mhm.
giving much. She just doesn't give much, you know what I mean? And so I think that it's that mixed with the fact that he's not physically attracted to her, which is why we get these awkward ass moments with them. It's just I don't think even if he was attracted to her physically, I still don't think they would click because person she just doesn't really give personality wise at all either. Like they just don't seem like they really had fun together. They don't seem like they click. They seem like another bad match that the experts put together.
But they don't seem like a terrible match because so let me say this. In the confessionals, I feel like we get a better idea of her personality.
I do too. But why is that? That's her personality. You understand what I'm saying?
That's true.
You
And
get
I
what I
think
mean?
that's
Like
kind of
that's
what the
her.
cousin was getting at. But the
Yeah.
cousin doesn't know her at this point, so she don't get
Right.
no she's not getting any credit for
Right.
that.
No, not at all. But yeah.
But I do think that that has something to do with it. So I guess we'll jump in and talk about Jasmine and Arris. They talk about their love lives and her having been in love a few times. You know what I mean? Which I think is normal. And which I also think, after you and I had the discussion about everybody's not going to do everything at the same pace. So it's not far
Right.
fetched that somebody didn't meet their person
Right.
or a person.
Because it's hard out here. It's really it's I'm laughing because just hours ago I was on Twitter and one of the managers that I work with, he lives in Canada, and he was reposting something about a horror, another like date horror story.
Uh-huh.
And
Was it
and
his
he's
date?
no, it wasn't his date.
Okay,
It
okay,
was another thing that had gone viral, and
okay.
pretty much he was reposting it and just saying like it's garbage. It's nothing but garbage out here. And I commented on it. And I said I really feel bad. Like I genuinely, like, we joke and you see memes and stuff online, but I commented to him and I was like, I genuinely feel bad for anybody that's out here looking, because you are literally sifting through trash, it seems like, you know what I mean? And he responded and he was like, it's really like it's ridiculous out here at this point. So
Yeah, I feel a bit bad too. It's been hard, and it's funny because I don't know. It's like it's the chicken before the egg kind of thing. Like you
Mhm.
could say the women are trash, but then you could say the women are trash because the men are trash, but then the men can say that the men are trash because the
Yeah,
women are trash.
it's
It's
equally
just
trash.
like I don't understand. So when I look at it, but I also think I'm a very big proponent. Like I was a huge dater when I was single. So like to me, it really just comes. I really do be believing that people just don't pick good people because haven't had a life. I don't know. I think it's odd that like people are going through these things or having these conversations. Like he wants to talk about sex, but he doesn't like her.
He
Or he
wants
told her that I'm confused.
I think, it is a bit confusing, and this is just my guess, right? I'm trying to make sense of this. I think he wants some type of reaction or emotion or energy from her,
I
right?
I thought the same thing.
And I think that,
I thought the same thing.
Donald Trump,
No, don't do that.
not that I would ever quote Donald Trump, but he said, but follow me here. He said he was calling somebody low energy, right? I forget who it was. You know how he was giving everybody
Oh,
nicknames or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but he was like, so and so is so low energy, right? I think that if Aris had to, give Jasmine a nickname, he would call her low energy, right? So I think he's trying to get
as if
something.
he got energy.
I think he's trying to get, but I think to your point, certain things bring out somebody in other in a
Yes,
person, right?
certain
So
conversations, certain things
so
trigger a reaction.
so I think a complete stranger around me would say I have low energy, but if they saw me around you, they would never say that. You understand what I'm saying? I've
Yeah,
literally had people say that to me, like, I thought you was a mean guy, I thought you was this, that, and the third, and then I spoke to you. You know what I mean? Right? So
that's
it's
because you black and big.
no, but it is a
But
thing
I
of
do
like,
think that's a thing.
it
Don't
is
get me
a
wrong. I
thing.
do
It
think
is a
that's a
thing.
thing.
Like, especially if I'm just, if I've had black people say it to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
when I'm around my wife, because we interact in a certain way, her
yeah.
energy, we vibe off of each other. You would never call me low energy when I'm around her, right? So I think that his energy is kind of mirroring hers at times.
Yeah.
But I think he says some of this stuff to kind of get something, and it just makes for terrible interactions because he's terrible
Terrible
at it,
interactions.
and she's like, she don't really get his sense of humor or his anything, so it just always falls flat.
But you know what's funny? I thought the same thing. I thought that, he was trying to just get something, even a feeling. Because
Yeah.
even sometimes when you talk, even if you're talking about your previous experiences, whatever the case may be, even that can stir up some chemistry, some feelings, some laughs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like anything. Like, and I think that that may have been what he was looking for, some common ground.
Mm-hmm.
And but he did say something that I thought was odd when he was like, he was like, "You ain't kissed a girl. You ain't did this." What he said? You didn't kiss a girl. You
He
didn't
told her to try life again.
cheat. Yes, he did, child. He said, "You have not done enough. What are you doing with your life?" And I think that, like, part of me, like, we gotta be real. Like, a lot of us understand what he's saying.
Yes, like I
A
think
lot of us do.
I think ultimately he's bored by her. I
And
think it's I think it was less about any sexual escapades that he's ever had or she's ever had or anything like that, and more about the fact that he's just simply bored by her, right? And I think in large part, so are a lot of us. Like, you know what I mean? I see people in the comments saying, you know,
bored.
yes, you know what I mean? Like, I think so we get it. Most of us are watching and we kind of bored too, you know what I mean? So I think that's really what it was born from.
So, what did you feel about him saying that when he was around 28 years old, he felt like he was falling in love with a woman, but she left him?
I mean, this is the run of the mill conversation. This is age old news and he admitted to it. Like, he was just like, male heartbreak is we males don't take heartbreak the same. So if anybody missed it, he basically was saying that he was in a relationship that he could see being long term. Something happened, it went south, and that was it for him. Like, he was like never in a real relationship ever again, because he felt like he had to super protect himself in any relationship moving forward. And I guess that's the situation where the walls goes up, and that's a wrap.
And what do you think about that? Like, what do you think about that approach?
Oh, I think it's terrible. I think it's
I think it's
I mean,
terrible too.
I think it's terrible. Do I
I
understand
think
it?
it's a cop out. I think
I
I don't understand it. I
I
think
do
it's for people's what. I'm gonna let you finish though.
I do
Go
I
ahead.
do I do understand it. I've heard it. I've heard, like I said, I've heard this story before. I understand it. People who've had their heart broken can understand it. I'm sure we all can understand some. I'm sure we've all been
Our
at
hearts were broken.
and had walls up afterwards, right? Like, even if it was a short period of time, right? Because the only difference between him and me or him and you is we bounced back. That was the only difference, right? We were able to move on and open up to other people, open up to each other, eventually get married. We're able to move on. And some people don't move on. Some people end up, staying with their walls up. Some people end up staying in the single field. Some people end up being savages and just, being a F boy or girl their whole life. You know what I mean? So I think the result of and how you handle it, it was is not good. Like, I hate that was the result of it, but I've seen it before. I wasn't surprised by it.
I just feel like, when I hear this narrative that, like, yeah, I try to, people don't normally take accountability for where they are. Like, I think it's so easy for, like, I am such a, I guess, like a lover or whatever the case may be in some sorts, because I just recognize where I do wrong in things. And because I'm able to have accountability, I'm able to put things to bed. I'm able to say, you know what, this is where you messed up. You know what I mean? Like, and that's okay. And maybe this didn't work out or it didn't come to fruition like you thought it would. But I'm able to move on and say, I can still do this though. Like, you know what I mean? As I would do with anything. If I lost a job, I would get another one. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, if I lost anything in my life, I would just move on and try to figure it out. So I think that's why I say I think it's a cop out, and I think it's a way that men specifically justify treating women a certain way, because you never hear women with that, and women have a certain amount of what's the word, emotional maturity that men, it take them years to get to, where women kind of get there a little bit sooner. So sometimes I feel like when men say it, it's like, because what he said was, her and I were together and the woman left him. So that makes me think that you said something to her where you and her were on the same page, and she made a decision to choose herself. That's what it sounds like to me. and you're upset because she chose you. I mean, chose herself and not your BS. And that's why I'm like, when we get to these places, well, if I can't love, if I put myself out there and couldn't get love back, then why do it? Why do anything then? If
But
you
I
get into
think
a car accident, you're not going to
right,
get back in the car and drive.
right. I think more so than understanding the why, it's really people looking over the why and just trying to avoid the feeling. You know what I mean? And I think that's really what is so common in this situation. People feel hurt, people feel rejection, people feel whatever it is, and they do not want to feel it again. It's like you touch the
I get
fire
it.
and you can't, you know what I mean? Especially men, and that's what he was saying.
And that's what he was saying, which is so childish. But I don't know.
But
I
it's
felt
true.
like at his big age, it is true, and it doesn't make it less childish. And then I just feel like at his big age, the conversations that he has with Jasmine is like really fascinating to me because like even I was thinking like, okay, yeah, you might want to cultivate some kind of feelings or whatever the case may be. Why don't he like romantic like what's the word I want to use? Like a romantic gesture. Like Chris and Nicole got massages. That's a romantic gesture.
Yeah,
You
but
know
this
what I
is
mean?
but this is where the experts need to come in at,
True.
right? Because now you're talking about somebody learning to be married. You understand what I'm saying? Which that's what they're doing. You know what I mean? So somebody should be having those, somebody would need to have that conversation with him. He's not only has he never been married before, but he's obviously never been in a real relationship before, right? So
Yeah.
this is all stuff that he should be doing. That's my gripe with a lot of the times with the show. Like, why isn't somebody sitting down in these moments and saying, let's talk about what's happening? Oh, maybe you guys should do this. Maybe you guys should work on chemistry, work on conversation. Like, they don't really even talk about much of nothing, at least on camera. You
I
know what I mean?
agree.
So that's
I
another
agree.
thing
It's
that
almost a little hard to watch.
not that's another thing that the expert should be in. Even his personal issue with the heartbroken thing, right? His heart, like I said, this is an age-old situation, especially with men. Men
Why are
don't
we
heal.
not unpacking
Men
it?
men don't heal like women heal. So why not have him sit down with Pastor Kyle and say, listen, I know Pastor Kyle would get it. This wouldn't be the first time he heard a man say, I got my heart broken once and I was done. So
You know what though? Can I
why not bring Pastor Cal in and have Pastor Cal sit down with him and talk to him about that, and then have them, like, I just feel like we got these experts. Then they hired Divine. We've seen Divine
we on
once in
episode 10.
bro. We've seen Divine twice in 2 years, right? So why not have Divine come in if Pastor Cal is too busy or y'all can't afford him? Why not have Devon come in and have Devon sit down and have a conversation, or have them? Somebody should be talking to them because they're obviously trying to navigate this space and it's not clicking for them, which that's okay. It doesn't always click for everybody, by themselves in the beginning. Sometimes you need some professional help to help that along.
That
We
is
just
so
don't see, we
true.
just don't see enough of it.
And you need a village. Like you need people. It is so true. I know so many people who like feel like if their village was stronger in their relationship, that they would have continue to be together. Like you know what I mean. But so I do 1,000% agree, and I do think it's worth unpacking. But what I wanted to push back on something you said, and then we can move on to the next couple. You said that women heal faster. And I don't think that women heal faster. I think that women understand men far more than men understand women. So we always, since we're young, everybody is telling you what a man is, how a man act, what a man's going to do. But men don't have that. They don't have that same conversation about how you should take care of a woman or do this or take care of your home. They're not having the same conversations with young men any longer. You know what I mean? Or maybe not at the same value maybe they once were, right? So where women can get into situations with a man, he could have a terrible temper, he could step out on her, he could do all these things. We have already been provided since we were young the tools to deal with a man at his worst. It's not if we don't get that inversely ever. I've never heard anybody talking to their young man talking about, well, sometimes young women have a time of the month and they're upset, a little bit more hormonal. You don't hear people talking about that. Or sometimes you have to support a woman, and you don't hear that. Like I've never heard it. Like I've watched a ton of movies, everything. But one thing's for certain, you can watch something and they will be talking about how a young woman is supposed to comport herself around men. And that is so we're not healing. We have been conditioned to understand the opposite sex so that we could live in this world with them. So now you find us like, okay, well, he did this, I'll move on. But if you do the same thing to him, he all up in arms. What type of bullshit is that?
Yeah, but I didn't mean it in the sense
I didn't. I
of
didn't. I know you didn't mean it
yeah,
maliciously.
yeah, yeah. I meant it in a sense like move on. Like, men don't move on like women move on. That's what I meant. I didn't mean it. I meant in the sense of like women. However, because that's a whole nother conversation for
It
another
is.
day. So
It is.
somebody made a point that young girls we teach young girls to handle heartbreak. We don't teach young men to handle heartbreak, right? So I get that. There's a whole conversation around how we got to that point. But the fact of the matter is, however we got to that point, which is a video for another day, I think we can all agree that men don't move on like women move on. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think this is something where they could benefit. Arris especially could benefit from having a professional conversation in
Mm-hmm.
this space with somebody that's employed by the show.
1,000%. So let's move on to Clint and Gina. I actually, I'm not gonna lie. The more I watch Clint on TV, the more I like him. Like I get
Yeah,
him.
yeah, me too. We was talking about the representatives kind of leaving a little bit. And I feel like inversely, you also get to see, the brighter side of people. You get to see people start to relax a little bit more, and you get to see who you actually like a lot more. And I think also getting to see Clint being demonized by Gina made him more likable as well. So this is a couple things in play there.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I have to agree, babe. I think I agree that something about he feels almost like he was wrong to me.
Yeah.
So I part of me is like I'm rooting for him in that regard, right?
Yeah, part of me want to see him get out of this.
You want to see him get out of it?
Oh yeah, for sure. But
I
like, but when I say that, I mean get out of it without like his heart being broken.
Oh,
You
okay, okay,
understand what I'm
okay.
saying? Because
I
I
think
feel like and he said it like I just feel like she's not in this 100%. It's already a PSA about her business every chance we get.
yeah.
They take us to the salon as if we needed to go there, as
Mhm.
if we didn't know that it was already an issue between them. That it was
But
that
who else's job have we been to in the history of
nobody's,
Married at First Sight?
nobody's, nobody's, nobody's. That's why it was weird. It was almost like you was trying to rub it in his face, Lifetime production. Like he says, this is a problem. It comes up all the time. She can't really just relax or divorce herself from talking about work, anything like that. And they're like, cool, let's film there.
So this is the thing. He sits down and talks to his mom, and I think his mom gave him like a real world, like, listen, like people who run businesses have to take care of their business. You know what I mean? So it might be some years until she can be more available or whatever the case may be to you. And as much as I think that is the truth, as a mother, I would have been like, that's all true. But why she sign up for this if she didn't have time?
Yeah.
What did you sign up for this for if you knew you didn't have the time?
To get your business out there.
It's
I really,
only a solar. So now this is the thing. It's a solar salon. This is solar salons like literally up the street from my house. So I'm
yeah.
like, so it's like salon suites, right?
Right. And she tried to make it seem like she was building her own salon or something like that for this longest time. And then I saw the sign and I'm like, Solar Salon is not like she doesn't own Solar Salon. It's suites. It's a bunch of rentals in there. That's what it is.
Which no tea, no shade. It takes a lot to be giving your money to somebody. It takes a lot to be an entrepreneur. Period. Whatever
This
kind
is
of
this is
entrepreneur
a
you are.
this is not the point. The point is this is what you tried to sell us a bill of goods. It's less about what being a business owner. It's about what you tried to sell, Gina. You tried to
Yeah,
sell us on it. But also let's just get away from. I'm tired of talking about Gina and her damn salon. I'm
I'm
tired of
tired.
talking about it.
I'm tired, and it's really clear to me that he wants this to work or he wants a relationship. Like the more he just is looking more and more like this loving human being to
Yeah, like
me.
he want a real relationship.
Yes. Like he took her out on the I guess what was it? What was it? Lake Minnetonka or something? Is that really
Hmm.
what the name of the lake
He
is
took her
though?
on a boat.
Okay,
I
he took
don't
her
know.
out on the
Yeah,
boat,
he's like on the
bang.
boat. Yeah.
And they were out and were enjoying their time and everything like that. And it just was good to even see him in his element and kind
Yeah.
of like bring her into it. Like it was like I don't feel like she does the same thing. Like she reciprocates that.
No. No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to mention a girl calling, saying, talking about the like he was joking about something, and she was like, "Well, are you messy?"
I don't know. It was a little. It was first of all the whole the vibes was weird,
Whole
in
thing.
that whole thing. I thought the girl was a little flirty,
Oh,
and
you thought she was
yeah, and it
flirty.
was just weird because I'm like, what's happening here? Like, why, why are we doing this? And then Gina does this whole like, I really want him to meet my coworkers. Why?
Why?
Why? I don't understand that. Like that didn't make sense to me. And then like he's not gonna work in the shop. Like I don't understand why was
Why?
this whole thing of like y'all still trying to get to know each other. You
But
understand?
that's my thing.
Why
We
are you
still
trying to
don't
get
know
them to meet
anything
other
about
people?
Gina outside of this.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And that's like kind of the upsetting thing. So they sit down and talk, and it's just so fascinating to me. You know what I was thinking about? This is what I was thinking about. It's so fascinating to me when people talk about like looks because looks are so looks are so fleeting, right? You
Hmm.
could literally get with somebody and they look one way, and you just invest a little bit of time, a little bit of money, get them together, and they could be the person that you want them to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when people say like, "Oh, you're just not my type," or "You're just not this," or "Whoopty whoopty whoop," I'm always like, all of this stuff can be changed. Kylie Jenner would not be Kylie Jenner without millions of dollars.
I was about to say that was a lot of changing though.
But
That was
but my what I'm trying to get at is that yes, but what I'm trying to get at is look at the 180 that she made.
hmm.
You know what I mean? Like she's a completely different human.
Yes.
She would have never looked like that. Age would have never took
No.
her there.
No chance.
Never. You know what I mean? So it's like, so what I'm getting at, like, no, I'm not saying go get nipped and tucked, but I'm saying a lot of times people be speaking about looks from a place of a haircut,
Hmm.
changing up the way somebody dress. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like maybe
But you
losing
know
a couple
what?
pounds.
But you know what? I think too, it takes an emotional connection to even want to stick to it with somebody to get to a point. I think that's really where a lot of people fall short. They don't have the connection that gives you the stick to itiveness to even see that through. You know what I'm saying? When I see these couples talk about how I was they was on my 300-pound life type vibe, and they stuck by me and I lost 250 pounds and blah 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 blah. They was in love at the beginning of those 300 pounds, right? And so love made them stick through it to see them to where they went from 375 to 150. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what causes a lot of people to just drift away before they even get to that part because they don't even have the connection, which is why I think that Clint and Gina should be working more on their connection and working more and less focusing less on meeting people that work at a salon. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, but she don't even seem like she into that. Like every time he was like really asking her what I thought was good questions, he had shared that he was with a young woman and she had a miscarriage and everything like that, and how that affected him. And I still felt like she was like, I don't
Yeah.
know, you know.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel like anything, and I don't feel like her. Like he asked, like, "What do you want to see developed?" And she was like, "Well, that's obvious." And he was like, "Well, expound, like, answer the question. Like,
Right.
don't just like it's like no effort." And I'm just really trying to understand because she's not the only one I got for this. Shaq, I really got some words for him too.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to understand why you people signed up for this. Y'all, everybody act like they really busy. Y'all not.
Oh well, that's a whole nother
Y'all
thing.
not. Y'all not. You and that, you do hair in Nashville.
Yeah.
I mean that with all due respect. I mean
And
that with all due respect. It's girls out here on the grind, okay? Waking up, gotta get the wig for this one, 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. You're not going to get me to believe at the solar salons.
no. No.
You're not going to get me to believe it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you're not working, and I'm not saying that you don't have responsibilities, but he is absolutely correct. Once you, the adult yourself, made the decision to be a part of this process, you also have to make an effort.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I don't really care what you do. People make time for what they want to make time for. Obama is
Literally.
married. You know what I'm saying?
Let me
Beyonce,
tell you
Jay-Z
something.
is married. It's busy people out here that got real like
They real
they doing
businessmen.
real big business
That's a
who
fact.
who is on vacation with their spouses and going to Martha's Vineyard and
That's a
going
fact.
to this, that, and the third. So to me, it's just a lot of excuses. And it is really telling about the person that you are and the person you will be in this marriage, because you coming into this not even committing the time to want to get to know this person and to build a
Right.
foundation. That's a red flag to me.
That's that's a very, very good point. You already came in not wanting to commit. You got an excuse for why you're not going to commit the time.
Yeah, off top.
Off top. Let's talk about Shaq and what's her name?
Kirsten.
Should we talk about Shaq and Kirsten, or should we talk about Chris and Nicole?
Yeah, Shaq and Kirsten.
Okay. Um First of all, the funniest thing in the episode was Kirsten was like, "Come over here, handsome."
Oh my God, the face. It was the face.
Was that the face? Did I do
It
it
was,
good?
yes, it was it was
Come over here, handsome.
yes, it was the least convincing face I've ever seen. I'm like, you're a terrible actor.
But I'm like,
Terrible.
I had to go Google what the hell handsome meant. I
Yeah,
said, what is she calling this man?
terrible.
That was not come hither. But
Nah.
that really, really tickled me. But okay, so I have, and everybody's probably going to disagree with me on this. Something about Shaq is not right.
What you mean?
I'm getting such not great vibes. Like, I don't know what it is that to me feels manipulative. You laughing
Oh,
because you think you know?
I was thinking, I was thinking you was gonna go somewhere else. But
No, where you think? Oh, no, I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
okay.
That's not what I mean. Still that, but that's not where I'm going. Something about him feels manipulative to me. Like, part of me feels like I think she still got a reason to keep her guard up.
Well, Kirsten is gonna keep her guard up because Kirsten has not um ever really learned how to put her guard down. You could tell, like, you want to call somebody a pageant queen. It's Kirsten. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's her whole vibe. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I think because part of me, as I watched them together, part of me thinks that she actually wants to see this process
I
through.
agree.
It actually wants to do what she can do to see if when they get to the end of this experiment, if they can really say yes on decision day and move past it.
I agree.
But she can't help but to give peanuts. I
But I
think
think that's her.
that's what I mean. I think that's just her personality. Like, she can't help it. And this would be another great space for the experts to come in and talk her through that and have conversations with them together and separately on what's going on? Why do you have walls up? This is obviously something that's from your past
Right.
relationships, past traumas, whatever it is. There's a reason why you have your walls up to where y'all can't even have a conversation where you just tell them something new about yourself. That was the
Right.
most awkward moment of the episode to me. He's like,
She like, I don't know. My favorite color is red. She didn't even know what to say.
you've known this man for an hour, like literally, like weeks, days,
But you don't
and you
think
don't have nothing to say. You don't. I got something new to say to Zara right after we get off this call. You
no,
know what I
listen.
mean? Like, it's just there's
We be
always
finding things to say.
and there's
I'm gonna tell
always
y'all business, they business, his business, her.
but
We
even
got stuff
about
to talk about.
but even about myself, right? Tell me
Yeah,
something new about yourself. I got something new to you know what I mean? Because
yeah.
we're we are constantly evolving. You know, even throughout the day, I change my thoughts on many things,
Yeah.
politics, food. Like, I'm like, I think I want to be done eating pork. Like, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean? So these are just things that happen. And so for you to sit in front of a man who you barely know and give him dust in a moment where that's how you get closer to people, right? That communication, right? So in a moment where he's asking for this communication because he wants to feel closer to you, and you see that he wants to feel closer to you, but you physically cannot show up in this moment to give him that communication. To me, it's like you need help through this. This is obviously, and because I felt like she wanted to do it, but I felt like you need help through this, and this is where we need somebody to come in and give their professional expertise to figure out what's going on here.
So just like in my thoughts, just like I feel like something about Shaq, I can't put my finger on. I feel like Kirsten is given exactly who she is.
Yeah,
I don't think I don't think she has much.
yeah,
I don't think she's dynamic. I don't think she has these large layers. I think that sometimes when you're a beautiful person, that's literally all you got.
yeah.
I mean, she don't even look her conversation, she don't even inflect like
No,
add any animation to her voice when she
no,
speaks.
no, no. Even that, like, come
Like
over here. He
it
ain't
was
some. It
come
was
over
the least
here.
exciting. Like, for what? So you can give me a high five. That's what it seemed like. It's nothing's happening at the end of this trip. I'm not. Like, I can tell
I'm gonna go
from
right
your
over there
voice.
and ain't shit gonna happen.
Yeah, at all. So I'm not gonna be. I'm not running. It's not happening.
But my thing is like I really so I was looking at this TikTok, okay, and I wish I could find it. That's what I was looking for. That's why I was scrolling because I literally stopped on it and I thought it was so poignant. It was this man saying, like, this is how men think about like women. Like he was like at the top of the list is like you got to be screwable. He used another word, but he said at the top of the list you got to be screwable. He said that means whatever it means to anybody. You gotta, you know what I mean, have like a little bit of a body, you know what I mean, and you gotta smell nice. This is literally what this man said. No bullshit. He said there's tiers to how men start having like liking women. It starts with, am I going to screw her? If I'm going to screw her, does she smell good? Like, you know what I mean? Then he said the next level is okay, like, does she have a nice face? Like, is she pretty? Whatever the case may be. Then men like, he was like, despite what women think, men like having conversations with
A
women.
thousand per. And I was, and it's funny. I obviously have not seen this TikTok, and I knew that was gonna be the next thing you
He
said.
said that. He said men love women with good personalities.
Yep, 1,000%.
And he was like, so once you got a good personality, you almost a lot of times that's really what
That will
hooks.
that'll bump you up.
Yeah,
That'll take you up to
yeah.
another tier. And I think that that's what I was talking about with the Arris and Jasmine thing. I could
Mm-hmm.
tell that he just doesn't, even if he was attracted to her, I was saying in my point of, even if he was attracted to her, I think personality wise, there's nothing there for him. So it still wouldn't work out because he doesn't like her person. They can't even have a conversation together. You could tell he doesn't have fun having conversation with her. You know what I mean? Same
Yeah.
thing we seen with Shaquille and Kirsten. You could tell that they're sometimes it's like they're cool, and then sometimes it's just like he's just bored.
Right. And you do gotta give a little. You know what I mean? Like I tell people all the time, like, I don't think I'm like the bad. I do not think I'm the baddest. Never did. But let me tell you, I will bag Obama. Okay. Like, and it's just because some people just got it. You know what I mean? Like some people got a thing, a light, or whatever. And you don't gotta be the most beautiful person in the room. You could just have this thing, this magnetism. And they do not have it.
No, not at all.
Okay. Like,
And pretty privilege is a thing. There's a lot of people out here that's been flying under the radar with a white piece of paper as a personality,
and that's all they're giving.
and
That is
that's what
quite
we
literally
talking.
all they're giving.
Yeah, that's what we talking about personality at this point. You know what I mean? Like you can. We was talking about this earlier. And I said it actually in a point that it annoyed me, but Zar can talk to anybody, right? You know what I'm saying? To the point where I worry about her traveling by herself because she'll be too nice and it'll be strangers. And I'm like, you can't be talking to these people, especially when I'm not there. You know what I mean? I don't want you to get trafficked or nothing like that. So it's one of those things where some people have that they can strike up a conversation, especially with people who they know and who they have commonalities with. And this is the extreme opposite. where like you're literally living together with this person and
Right.
they're sitting in front of you trying to have a conversation and you're like, I don't know what to tell you. That's weird.
Especially after you asked him to come and hang out with you. So you
Yeah,
want him to spend time with you, but then you don't want
right,
to give him anything. So it's like
right.
really fascinating, even though, you know, I want to be clear. It's weird to me that she even has to ask for that. Like, it's weird to me that she has to ask him to spend time with her.
Well, I think intentional time is something that they all should be doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like let's make time to literally sit and converse with. That was the irony in this to me, because this to me I took it as this is intentional time where we are actually conversing with each other and sharing things, maybe having a vulnerable moment with each other. This
Mm-hmm.
is time that you asked for, and then you get there and you don't show up on your end, right? Because there's very different ways to spend time. Like we spend time together, we watch TV or whatever like that. But then there's times where I'm talking to you and I'm like, I need you to put your phone down. We're not even talking
Yeah.
about nothing serious, but I just want to have that.
You want to engage a certain way.
Yes, right. And it's a very different, we can talk all night and be doing things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's very different when we're talking. We go out to the bar and we're sitting at a bar talking, and we're not watching a game
Right.
or on
Even
our
though you're
phones.
always watching the
Or
game.
but when I'm not, it's intentional because
Yeah.
I'm trying. You understand what I'm saying? So I think
Yeah.
that that's a very different time. That's a very different moment. You know what I mean? And I enjoy those moments very differently than I enjoy the
Mm-hmm.
other. I still enjoy the moments where we might not be talking at all. We just in each other's presence or whatever. But it's a different type of enjoyable. And I think that that's the irony in this is I think that's what Kristen wanted, but she didn't know how to show up in the moment.
Yeah. And I think just her existing, but she said in her previous relationship that she struggled with this as well.
Yeah, and this is and this goes back to the trauma thing, the walls being up that we were
Yeah.
talking about with the Arris and Jasmine situation, right? This is obviously drawn back to some type of trauma. Her walls are up, and this is by her admittance. We think this is drawn back to a past relationship. Somebody should be trying to open this flower of life up and find the center of it, and I don't know why no one is here doing this stuff because they're obviously the experts are obviously watching. They're somewhere backstage somewhere they pop out whenever somebody got something to say about them.
It's been 10 episodes.
It's crazy. It's
10.
crazy
We saw
because
Pastor Kyle once.
yeah. And Dr. Pepper, we ain't seen her since the what? Where the hell Dr. Pepper
I
been
don't
at?
even know how Dr. Pepper still got a job.
She's
Okay.
stealing
She
checks.
is stealing checks. Shout out to Malik. She is stealing. Okay. But in real life, I do think that they could have something, but something about him don't sit right with me. So let me give you the other thing he said. He said something about like, oh, I gotta make myself happy too. So part of me feels like these people have no idea what they're talking about. Part of me feels
Well, yes,
this
that's why we need experts.
because I'm like, he was like, well, I gotta be happy too. Like, I still gotta be able to go visit my family and do this and do that. And I absolutely positively hate when people do that because a way somebody will try to dispel your argument is to go to the extreme opposite of the spectrum. She didn't tell you to stop hanging out with your mama, don't go to work, never see your mentees again. That's not what she said. She
No.
said that I need you to spend more time with me. You took it that far in a way to discount everything that she was saying. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy?
No, it was an excuse. And you're right. It was an excuse and an effort to kind of gaslight her.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to this extreme. And I think that the real thing that's not being talked about here, which is why this should be a session with them, is he doesn't want in reality, I feel like he doesn't enjoy spending time with her. So
That's
because
big.
I'm just
Oh, go ahead. I'm going with
this
you.
is
I'm
my
going with you. I'm going with
synopsis.
you.
I believe that if he were to sit down and be candid, he would
Mm-hmm.
say he does not enjoy spending time with her. Not because he doesn't want to spend time with her, but because when he does spend time with her, she pays him dust. She's paying him dust because she has these walls up and she hasn't, but she wants to spend time with him in an intimate setting and have intimacy with him, whether it be emotional intimacy or otherwise. But she physically and emotionally can't figure out how to do it. So when they do spend time together, it feels to him like he's wasting his time because he asked her, "Tell me how your day was," and she's like, "Good." Right? So then because
Right.
there's not real conversation going on, she's saying what she wants and he's giving her excuses because no one's actually talking to the meat of the problem.
Mm.
And this is why I don't like that there are not enough interactions with the experts here, because all this stuff could be all uncovered in one conversation, I feel like.
How did you feel about the mentees coming?
I thought it was unnecessary, the same way I thought it was unnecessary for Clint to go to the shop and meet the co-workers of Gina, because I feel like when you just meet, when you're dating, right? Let's go back to the bare bones of this, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you're getting to know somebody. You're not taking them on week 3 and week 4 to go hang out with all of your sorority sisters and all of your cousins, 3 cousins removed. You're not doing that. You're in a bubble. You're in your whatever your little love bubble is, whatever that is for you, and you're getting to know each other. You're spending as much time with you can with each other because you don't know each other. So you're not even in a place where you want to be sharing air with them and all these other people, right? And so I think that to bring all of these other personalities in and all of these other energies in and be meeting people when you don't even know this person yet is weird to me. It's just weird.
So I'm gonna say this. What I find is weird, because I agree 1,000%. What I also find is weird in conjunction with that is me and you have this conversation all the time. I'm always like, you don't have to come to my job and clap your hands and stomp your feet and take pictures of me managing a team. You don't have to do that, right? Like, you don't have. So for me, when people do these things, like, it is relatively an anomaly that you're in a business where you have the opportunity to share so much of it with somebody else, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Surgeons go to the OR every day and don't share none of that with their people when they go
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
You're picking up what I'm putting down. So for me, there is an air of, and this is, and I don't want you to be offended by this either. There's just an air of, I feel like it's less sharing it with you and more trying to pontificate.
Mm-hmm.
It's more to me like a peacock showing its feathers than it is, I'm
Oh,
just
you think it's
sharing.
show and tell?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I see
I
what
think
you're
that they were
saying.
there to say nice things about him. Oh, he's such, he raised me from the gutter. I was a young man. I never had sneakers. And he came into my life and he gave me everything. So I
But
think,
but you I but see this, but we never went into it because I think you immediately saw it that way because you have a weird feeling about Shaquille. And we have not really uncovered what is at the root of this feeling. That's the problem
I
here.
think he manipulative. I think he manipulative. And even when I see him interact with her, I'm worried, if I'm being honest. And I don't want to say manipulative. That's a big word. That's a big word. I think he might have a little bit of undercurrent. He know how to work women. Let me say that. He know how to work women. So, like, you know what I mean? And I think that there's something to, I think it's odd. I think it's odd. Like, I tell people all the time, Joe say this all the time. Y'all everybody be like, oh my God, like, how does your wife handle this? He be like, she is completely unimpressed. Like,
Yeah.
I'm unimpressed. Did you save a life today? You want to impress me? Tell me you did open heart surgery. I'm gonna be like, what the like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not like, if you don't get gold stars for work. I don't know. I don't know. I think that so often we are in such a space
But I
where
think it's the motive for you. It's the motive for you. Like
it is.
I think
It
I
is.
feel like I feel like
Because I feel like it's motive behind it.
yeah. Yeah, because I feel like if you met a bunch of young men who I mentored, I think you would genuinely I think you would be in love with them. You would love the moment. That's the type of person you are because, and I think the only difference would be the motive. There,
But I
you
don't know
felt
that I
like
would think you're a better man because you
no,
mentor other men.
but you wouldn't have, but you wouldn't be focused on that because you would understand that that's not the motive behind it, right? You would just be
Right.
you would just be in the moment, and I think there
Yeah, I
you're
probably wouldn't
looking
even get there.
you wouldn't even get there, But I think in this situation, you already side-eyeing him, so you're looking for you're looking to see him coming, and he might be coming. He might be in a situation where I do think that he does things that do feel manipulative. I do think that I can definitely see that situation as a situation. I kind of even saw it from a side of, look, this is why I'm spending so much time away at work. You should be more okay with this
Yes,
because
because
so
you spending time at work with little boys
yeah. So I do think that
instead of
there's
your big booty wife.
yeah,
Like,
I do
make it make sense. I'm just like, I just don't
yeah,
understand.
I do think there's some different sides to it. You know, I think there's like him, I think there's different sides to him where there is a little bit of a little covert action going on there. But like I said, I think it goes back to them not having real conversation. You know what I mean? Like
Because you
they're
don't feel like just in the first episode, oh well, I love that she don't take no, what was he saying, that she want to take her time and that she's
yeah,
poised and this and that. But now
it
if
was
you listen
BS.
to the way he speaks about the situation,
He's over it.
it is so different.
It is.
It's
It
so
is.
different.
But I called it BS when he said it in a
You did.
moment. I called
You
it
did.
BS because it just felt like he was trying to play to her and he was trying to play to the camera. And that's what
Mhm.
you're talking about. It just didn't feel genuine. Like, bro, you know, no dude is turned away from kissing a beautiful woman and feels good about it. None. I've never seen. Matter of fact, like we was talking about with Arris and Jasmine, it typically goes the next way. They typically don't treat a woman right for 10 years after that, right?
Literally,
It
you're
never happens
absolutely
like that.
correct.
It
You're
never
absolutely
happens like
correct.
that. Oh, I just love how she turned me down. I've never heard a man say that.
You're right.
That's BS. But he went on a whole diatribe about it. You know what I mean? And in the moment, I just knew it wasn't genuine. And so I think it's just not a lot of real conversation happening here, and it's hard to watch because we're not dumb. We know it's BS.
Right. Right. That's why it's hard for me to watch it because I'm just like, where are we going with this, guys? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, so, I don't know, something about it ain't right on my spirit, and that's just keeping it 1,000%.
Yeah.
And even them talking about, they go to the nursery where they go to get the plants. Me and Joe did that once. We bought all these plants, spent all this money. They all died except for the
Yeah.
poisonous one.
Yeah, right.
The
The poison.
poisonous one
Wow.
lived,
And it was
child.
gorgeous, and we had
It
to
was
get rid
so
of it.
beautiful. What was it called? It was called
I don't
um
know.
something bells, angels bells or something bells. It's a
Yeah, it was.
beautiful plant. And but come to find out it was poisonous. So
Yeah.
there you go. But she goes, he takes her like, well, I want to bring her into my world. We don't have to be on a couch getting to know each other. See what I mean when I talk about like diminishing what she's saying?
Yeah, yeah. It was an excuse.
Like, oh, so I figured we go do something that I like to do. I could bring her into my world. It always feels like he's trying to. Granted, she don't give much, so I'm gonna give him a little bit on that.
Because
It
I honestly think if he was actually having, real communication with her, real intimacy with her, and I'm not even talking physical intimacy, it would be. I think she wouldn't have a problem with him spending time. He's obviously attracted to her, right? He thought she was fine from the moment he
yeah,
saw her, right?
I mean, she's
And
fine
said,
for anybody.
right, and right, and he said so, right? So that that's what happens when the luster wears off, right? Your looks is only going to take you but so
Ooh,
far. I don't care how fine you are. Any man worth his salt is only going to be held by your beauty for a short amount of time if it's not followed by your personality.
that's true
Period.
because one day we're gonna take these lashes off and have Meek Mill braids up under these wigs.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. But even though I got a ponytail up under this stuff,
True.
but no. So he talks about getting a job. Another thing I thought was hella manipulative. This turned my stomach when I heard it, Joe.
But I didn't even. I just thought for and more, not even manipulative. I was just thinking it was disrespectful. Like you don't talk to your wife about that and then you bring it up at mixed company. I would be
But she
so pissed. I would be so utterly pissed.
she did look like,
That's weird. Like what? That's crazy to me.
but that's what I'm saying when I feel like, and granted, what I want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. We speaking from a space of like, uh, experience with one another and experience as partners, right? These people don't really have that. So when we speaking about things, it's from like, where the fuck y'all get this from that y'all think this is okay, right? I'm trying to understand, like maybe he thought he was being a leader in the relationship when he did that.
He thought so. He put it as he was sacrificing, and which two things can be true. Was it a sacrifice for him to turn down a job because he knew his wife would not want him to take it? Absolutely, that's a sacrifice, right? But the way that he disclosed this information and then him not communicating with her about the job at all was also wrong and negative. So it was the whole thing, it just made for a whole weird dynamic. And then to do it in mixed company, it was just a lot of awkwardness going on.
So this is why I feel like it's manipulative. Show me the paper. Show me. Everybody gets a offer letter. Show me. Show me that you did it. I'm not even believing that that is a true story. Why is that?
Because you think that your antennas are up because you don't trust
I don't
him. So
believe it.
you
And I feel like he's trying to say it like, look at what I did for you. Show it to
yes.
me. Let me see the offer. Because if I find out this offer is 20, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, $60,000, maybe not 20 or 30. If this is 50,000, $60,000 is what you're making there, you talking about it would have been a big promotion, good for your career. So why? So then later on you can find a way to hang this over my head?
Yeah.
Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just thought the whole thing was weird. I'm not gonna
Why
lie.
wouldn't you talk to it? Just was odd. It just was like, but that's number one. Number two, or did you not take the job because you're under contract with Lifetime?
That part too.
Don't try to make it a me thing when the truth of the matter is you're under contract.
I honestly couldn't even get past the disclosing this information in the company of other people. Like I couldn't get
Would you
past
really be
that.
upset?
What? I wish you would ever try to what? I would be so hot. To me, that's so disrespectful. You know what I
Do
mean?
you get upset when you feel like I tell people things before I tell you?
Absolutely. And that's not something that I feel like you've even done. But if it happened, it would burn me up, especially if it was something that concerned our household. Like imagine finding out your spouse got a job offer from somebody else and then never told you about it, and then you're all sitting there having dinner somewhere. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I got like what? It's disrespectful." You know what I mean? And it's a violation. You have an obligation to bring this information to the table when it concerns your household. Period. You know what I mean? You just do as a married man or woman. That's part of your obligation. You know what I'm saying? Whether you take the job or not. You know what I'm saying? If somebody offered me a job that I know I'm turning down, I'm still gonna tell my wife I turned it down. She probably already knew I was turning it down.
Right.
I still gonna tell her that I'm turning it down because I have an obligation to do that. And so let alone not telling her and then telling her in mixed company, that's a violation to me. And and Kirsten said as much in the after party. She didn't say it during the episode, but in the after party she said, I thought it was weird that he didn't come to me and say something to me about
It was weird because it's weird.
it. Yeah.
Because something is not right. I do not care. It just doesn't feel good. He took her to the nursery because it was something that he wanted to do. She couldn't even pick out the plant she wanted. I just don't understand it because for me, it's like if you wanted to ingratiate me in something, like really fully immerse me in it, you really like do a good job of like making me feel a part of it. So like as much as I say like, yeah, I don't come to your job and clap my hands and stomp my feet and do all this mess like that. I know everybody, like you know what I mean? Like everybody, you make sure everybody knows my face, whatever. Like so like certain things makes me feel more comfortable to navigate in certain rooms or whatever the case may be. And it's like she doesn't even have autonomy in spaces that you're
Right.
sharing with her.
Right.
Because
Right.
he should have just like, if she picked that plink, you should have been like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Like get her into it. Like, no, we're gonna get this one. That to me
Yeah.
felt manipulative too.
I know, but you know what? To me, it just feels like their chemistry is at zero. They just really don't, because I feel like
Mm,
you have these moments with people where you do acquiesce to things that they want,
yeah.
and it's just, but to me that takes chemistry. You know what I mean? Like when you are just dating, right? And you just getting to know somebody, or you're not really into somebody like that, you have that attitude that he has. Like, no, I don't want to do that because I don't
But
want to do
that's
it.
and that might be it. That
And I
really
think that's
genuinely might be it. But let's move on to Nicole and Chris. Two big things I think came out of the conversations that Nicole and Chris had. One, they were speaking about their love languages. Like, you know what I mean? They were getting the massages done or whatever. And they were talking about how, like, Chris said, his love language is physical touch. And Nicole says she doesn't think hers was physical touch before getting married.
hmm
But Neil, she doesn't mind. She said Neil, she feels like it is. What
hmm
do you think? What do you think? Do you think your love language has always been the same?
yeah, I do.
Men.
What? What? Yeah, no, I don't think it's changed. I don't think it's changed much at
I
all.
don't think. I mean, I'm not even going to do that to you. I don't think mine has changed much either. Like I'm like, what is like? I think that but I think how I display love has changed.
Oh, 1,000%. And I think that has changed for me too.
Like maybe my personal love language hasn't changed, but I
Yeah.
can recognize your love language
Right. Right.
and say, okay, maybe I can start loving him the way that
But
he, you know what I mean?
you're much more physical touch than you used to be.
Much more. Yeah, so now I feel like, real comfortable. But I feel comfortable. That's really a
hmm
testament to where I am. Like I'm in this space. I'm on this vulnerability journey, guys, because I'm a Virgo and we are not the most vulnerable of people. Or open or anything.
And I think that's a big part of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I think that it's also a vulnerable space. It's a vulnerable space to even just to even have that as a love language is vulnerable, right? Like
Yeah.
to tell somebody, we all like gifts and we all like experiences and getting gifts and stuff like that. But it's very vulnerable to tell somebody like, I want you to put your hands on me, and you know what I mean. I want to be close to you. That's
Yeah.
a very
Yeah. I
vulnerable
just
thing.
want to be close to you. Like I want to be up under you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super vulnerable, and I think that's a part of what made you come. If there was a meter, I think that's a part of what made you come a lot closer to the meter, because as that vulnerability started to grow, I noticed a change in even your own personal want for physical touch. I noticed an increase
Yeah.
in that.
Because I feel like I want to be touched more. Because there was a
A
time I
thousand
would be
percent.
like, "Don't touch me,"
Yeah, a
but
thousand
now I'm
percent.
like, you know what I mean? Like more.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I
Yeah,
put myself in spaces that I know you'll touch me, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I do think it's something to like being with somebody that you enjoy and being somebody with somebody that you like and wanting to express that with one another. So
yeah.
I'm saying all that to say I really have been enjoying the conversations Chris and Nicole have been having with one another.
Yeah.
But the other weird one was when he told her about him calling her thick.
Which I thought was unnecessary. Like they didn't even show that clip. They had to go back and pull it out the archives, and you could tell that wasn't even the clip that they.
But he doesn't. You gotta give him props because in this moment he don't know what the hell they're gonna
You're
show.
right. He doesn't know what they're going to show, and I think that it was sort of a proactive
Yeah.
shot for him. But I just felt like one. I felt like it was very ironic.
Why?
Because
Because he thick.
he was yes, that's why. And then I just thought that I don't think you needed to. That's a bridge you should have just tried to cross when you had to cross it, because she I think she felt like they was in a good space, and then
Yeah.
he just took them back.
Okay. And I felt like she was a bit, which I don't know. I don't know if she should have been, but I felt like she was offended.
She was offended. She was definitely offended.
And I think she kind of felt like she was offended because she like, how the hell you look like Pee Wee Herman with this man, American Dad belly, and you talking about me?
Yeah, she like, we wear the same bra size, little kid.
Because didn't I just say he got some man meat,
Yeah, yeah.
like something,
So that was
some man.
funny.
He got some mammary glands too. But no, so it was a little bit ironic, but I did enjoy the fact that he brought it up himself because he like, y'all ain't gonna have me in the back end looking all crazy. I'm gonna let her know exactly what the hell I said about her, and then we'll work
But
through
I
it
just thought
today.
it was unnecessary, like the same way that it was unnecessary when Gina did it. Why we keep telling our spouses all of this stuff that we don't like about them that they can't change?
Okay, so
You
the
know what I mean?
different I'm gonna say the only difference is that Gina volunteered the information where he was asked that by a producer and said it, and he just wanted to make sure she didn't watch it in the future and feel no kind of way about it.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't asked about the size of women that he typically dates. That was volunteered.
No.
He
Okay.
specific. He
Okay.
specifically said she's nice, da 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 da. And then he said a little bit thicker than I'm used
Yes,
to,
he
but da
did.
da da
Yes,
da.
he did.
Right. So this was also information that we did not need, y'all. Where y'all get this stuff from?
But
Where
what's
did?
also annoying is that people major in the minors. This is so small. If she wasn't somebody who you thought was a certain size and you were used to it, that ain't even nothing that you need to talk
But
about.
also, you signed up for a show called Married at First Sight. You obviously know that there's a large chance that they're not going to be your type, your typical person, because you have no clue what they're going to be. You're not picking them
Hello, this is not the Indian matchmaker, which y'all should
at
be
all.
watching that. That is very good. That's very good. But it's not that. And it's like, that's what I don't get. Like, I was proud of him for bringing it up, but I did also feel like this is a lot.
I
And
felt like you should have never brought this up in the first place. You should have never said it. We don't need that information.
you
Because
be
guess
calling me
what?
sick
You're
mama.
married. You know what I mean? So now what? Like you were married. You said it after you already knew that you were married to this person.
That's a
So
good point.
there's this is a mute whatever it is, start an action plan. This is the difference between problem solvers and people who cry over spilled milk. If you think that she's too thick, say let's go to the gym together. Let's do this. Let's go
That's
do
what
that.
I'm saying.
You know
But
what I
that's what
mean?
I mean. That's exactly my point about majoring in the minors. Most of the time, when people talk about what they don't like about somebody, it's quite literally something you can change. It's quite literally
You get
something that
on
you
it.
could motivate them, inspire them. I literally dated this guy, and when I met him, this is no BS, he looked like Jeffrey Dahmer in his prime. In his prime. When I left him, he looked like Ryan Reynolds, like completely different human. I'm not even BSing you. And everybody was like, damn, look at the favor you did for him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, literally. So it's like, and I just had a vision. I just had a vision. I was like, you know what? We could do something with this. You just gotta be like, look, I'm more invested in who you are as a human. You know what I mean? Like we could do anything. Hell, I wear shapeshifters, push-up bras, wigs to look a certain way. So who am I to be in a space and want you to be this Adonis or not have moments where you can't come to? It's just very fascinating to me when people talk about looks. It's
I
so
just want you to bring
fascinating.
I just want you to bring solutions to the table, especially if you bring in a problem. All of this talk about other Gina, you do hair and all this other stuff. You talking about the color of his hair, change it. You know what I mean? You don't got no, you know what I mean? Like it's just, and if you would have started out with these things and led with that before you led with the insult, it would have been a much smoother transition. That Gina never had to say that she didn't like redheads or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, he didn't
But
have to come.
imagine you doing hair and talking about what color hair you don't like.
I know. That's a whole nother thing. But hair, the point is hair can be
It's
dyed.
so dumb
Like,
to
you know what I
me.
mean?
But I don't even think I think that is absolutely correct. Y'all have to think bigger. People, because
Yeah.
you could really have somebody in your life like that really is good to you, that is smart, that is funny, like you know what I mean? And
And
then
you
y'all be
can,
worried about y'all be majoring in the minors.
but also you just get more bees with honey. So I'm not saying like if you walk up to her and say you're too fat, she's not going to be down to do anything with you. But if
That's
you
true.
walk up to her and say, let's work out together, that's a
That's
completely
what Joe do to
different
me, y'all.
conversation. That's a completely different conversation. You understand what I'm saying? You can
Or
get
he
more bees with
snatched
honey
the food out my mouth. He do
or
it.
that. But it's just a completely different conversation, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
And so I
agree.
think that if there's just a lot more, just not enough honey, it's not enough leading with the honey here. You know what I mean? Which I guess this is more conversations for the experts to have
But
that
this
they're
is
not
this
having.
is this is what's happening to this generation of people. Like the truth of the matter is millennials and younger, we suffer greatly from, we have social anxiety greatly,
Yeah,
a
that's true.
lot more than people imagine. There was a time you had to call somebody's house. You ain't know
Yeah,
who the hell was going to pick up the phone. It could be
that's
their
right.
mama, it could be anybody, and you had to say, "Hey, can I speak to such and such?" Right? Just something as small as that builds a certain amount of character. So
Hmm.
think about all these things as we move through the generations, through the seasons of Married at First Sight, that people are no longer doing. You have far
Yeah.
more access. You know what you had to do to watch porn? Do you know what
You
you had to do?
you had the risk of life in my house.
You had to
You
risk
had the
a
risk of
virus
life.
on a computer, okay? Your
Yeah.
whole computer will die if you want to. Even something as small as that, right? Or it's on this VHS tape or whatever. Like we have so much access now, and because of that, it is making us like it's socially we're socially regressing.
Hmm.
Even though we're in the age of social media, the media is social, the people are not.
Right,
Ooh,
right.
that was good, wasn't it?
I
I think it was a good episode.
do too.
Obviously, our episode was just as long as their episode, but ours is better. Let me tell you that. Do us a favor. Wish Joseph a happy birthday. Happy birthday, husband, again.
Thank you.
It's Pisces season. So bust down. Make sure you all subscribe to our channel. I'm Intisar Eleanor. This is Jay. Bye.
Peace.